I'll make a martini, and I will drink it.
Okay. Wow. Too stoned for this. When you smoke your own pre-roll and you're like, wow, I don't know if I can do this episode. Yeah.
Not saying that on camera.
No, we're keeping this. We're keeping this footage.
Yeah,
okay.
we should. We always winning. Hashtag one. We win. We the best.
Okay.
Hashtag.
Nick was recently fired.
Do you guys watch that Hot Ones show?
Oh, no. What do you mean, do you guys watch that? Oh, no, we can't. This is why you test before you go to market. If you sign up for our Patreon.
Seriously, I'm already crying. We haven't even introed yet. I'm already crying.
Honestly,
it's been an emotional week.
Welcome back to House of Herby. I am Qveen Herby, your host. We are on a path of self-discovery, of bad bitchery, always.
Always.
With my co-host, Jedi Nick.
Yes.
And we are today talking about something that is also pretty cool. It's the creative process, because we just dropped. We took our own advice after almost a whole year of not dropping music. We just dropped 2, not just 1, but 2 songs. Spooky songs at that. Yeah. So we thought we would share with you how we create a song from the very beginning to the very end. Because a lot of people ask us, like, what is your process and how does it happen? And I know that every musician is different. Yeah. I know that every artist, I know every entrepreneur, your creative process for bringing a product to the market or a song to the listeners is different. So we're going to go over ours in case you're interested for Qveen Herby song 5D and
Qveen Herby song 5D.
Qveen Herby song Dress Code.
Woo, let's go.
Let's really dig into this. Our caveat for this episode, by the way, is that this is for independent artists, because working on a label is a little different. You've got people that are high up and in control and in power controlling you, and it's
not that much different, though.
Neither here nor there.
I don't think it's that much different.
Well, I think modern day artists are still having to do everything themselves in terms of the creative.
That part, yeah, absolutely.
But if the label like flies you to London and puts you up and puts you in the studio with whoever the DJ is at the time, like that's different than
no, that's true.
That's different than you
but you're still
by
gonna
yourself
have to,
making a record.
Absolutely. You're still going to have to know how to do all the process, I think, to be successful on a label today anyway.
Correct. So let's dive in.
All right, let's do it. Go ahead.
Okay, so 5D and Dress Code are out. These songs, I'm trying to think when we started this process. It was probably this summer. So we took our time. We usually do create music pretty quickly.
Summer, spring, yeah. Sorry, we're gonna get back to it. It's been a crazy year. We'll maybe tell you about it later.
This year has been very personally challenging for us, I would say. And then from a career standpoint, so your creative flow, like the timeline really doesn't matter, but we want to talk you through like the actual factuals of how these songs came about. So I'm realizing my mood board, which we talked about last week, is changing. My mood board and my ideas of who I am and my identity are changing. And I'm like, oh shit, I need to write a song about this. So I would say 5D, which I've been on my spiritual journey on the YouTube University studying what the 5th dimension even means. Like, what the fuck? We're living in 3D. Is there a 4D, like on the way to 5D? Okay, so I had this whole breakdown from these woo-woo accounts that just always blow my mind. It's like, oh, in 5D, you are completely present and in the love vibration. And I was like, well, that's what we need. Okay, I know we're probably several years away.
Hawkins would also say that is 500 and above.
Wow.
Keep going.
So 5D is really a wonderful place where we operate differently. And I was like, yo, if I'm going through this transformation, I know y'all have to be feeling this shit. Everybody I talk to, friends, family.
You just went through a fucking pandemic.
Yeah, but this is the repercussions.
It is. And everybody's different.
We're being forced to up-level.
Yes, everybody's different. Sorry for interrupting. Everybody is a different person right now.
I just want everybody who's listening to take a second and let that settle in your body. Like, you survived something.
You're already killing it.
Deep breaths. You did it. Okay.
Yeah.
We're here together. It's such a fucking blessing that we get to make a podcast to talk with each other and like connect, it's a miracle, right? So I make this song about 5D because I'm like, yo, I can see the future. I am pretty good now at like seeing trends before they happen, like seeing all these things. And it's always scary every single time. My creative babies who are listening, it's always scary when you're like, is it this? Is it that? Yes. So I wrote a song about literally throwing myself in the fire and burning and rising from the ashes, right? Which is what the phoenix does. And I realized that you have to do that. You have to hit rock bottom to get to the next level every time. So I already had a concept really that I wanted to write on this. Nick brought me this beautiful track that was...
Was it beautiful at the time?
It was beautiful. It had the pianos in it. We're going to play you an example. But you brought me this track and I was like,
maybe sometime
damn.
I can break down like all the tracks that are on it too.
Yeah, beautiful track. And then for dress code, I was like, well, shit, all summer... It was my videos of me like transforming my outfits and transforming my look. So I was like, fashion is such a huge inspiration to me. Who doesn't want to write a song about like what is a dress code? Like why the fact that we still have these systems of control, like, sir, you got turned away at a restaurant the other day.
Tank top.
We're just like two little creative boo-boos, like going down in Beverly Hills. We were like, let's go have some shrimp. Let's go have some shrimp cocktail.
I'm pretty sure I've worn a tank top there before.
And
though.
he wore like this. It was an expensive tank top, but
you guys didn't even realize it was so expensive.
The poor. It
was $32.
The hostess. I felt so bad for the hostess. She was like, and sir, we do recommend that folks, you know, what did she say?
The gentleman needs something covering the shoulder, I think is what it was. And I was like, okay, first of all, I am not a gentleman. Second of all.
So how funny that happened after I wrote the song Dress Code, which is, of course, about like other people imposing their limitations, you taking other people's opinions. Like you need to dress how you feel best. So I was like, these are two concepts. I'm obsessed with these concepts, but I have to sit with you first and listen to the tracks that you've created.
Why do you make it sound so terrible?
Because it's stressful. Because I'm like,
this is the fun part.
I love everything you make.
Okay, that's not totally true. I don't love everything I make. Thank you. I love you for that.
It's very rare. It's very rare that I don't like something you make.
Okay, well,
but we sit together and we have what's called an A&R session. So here's the beginning of the process. I've been floating these ideas around for concepts, right? Because you do need to have a why. Why are you making a song? I mean, it also works to just randomly make it. But for me, look, I've been in the game a long time. Sit down, you play me like 12 tracks. A&R, for those who don't know, is artist and repertoire, which is what the labels are supposed to give you an A&R representative to help connect the artist with the repertoire. So that's literally putting the artist in the studio with producers, connecting the artist to a song that somebody already wrote for them. And the A&R is like the middleman to make this fucking record happen.
And it's always such a coveted position because it's
you get to be.
You get to call.
You say, well, I'm going to put Jessie J in with David Guetta. You know, you're like, this is the vibe, right?
And you know the people who can connect those to make that happen.
Yes.
So it is a very like culturally, it is such a coveted position.
Yes.
Because people, it's the best. It's like it's the creative. They're like, oh, Taylor Swift, Max Martin, do it.
The Godfather.
Yeah, he's the Godfather all of a sudden.
Who the A&R makes the choices.
Wake up with a horse.
Yeah.
Horse's head in your bed.
So we have sort of a tongue-in-cheek version of A&R in that
we have to do it ourselves.
It's just us like sitting together and being like, yo, let's A&R this shit.
Which is dope because I love doing it.
Me too. And it also removes you a little bit. So you're like, all right, let's look at this from a business standpoint. What's going to go off online? What's going to go off on tour? What's going to sound fucking cool? What's a bop?
So creating music for us is it's such a different thing because we've already had the time in our lives when we can go off and do free form, like, you know, I was a jazz trombonist.
We got that out of our system already.
Yeah, so I don't necessarily need to feel like, and I also do have tendencies to make pop choices in general, but
which is a good thing.
Which is a good thing, and I didn't realize that I enjoyed until I was doing it, I guess.
And we love explaining this to people that are really advanced jazz people because we appreciate and enjoy their talent.
Yes.
And we're always like, yo, but what if you simplify it and form it out like this? Then it becomes a song that people can sing along to at a football game.
Right. Or if not even that, making the things that are just the left that still connect with a huge amount of people.
Exactly.
That there's something about it that's just so undeniable or just so, electric or whatever that people have to. So like,
did y'all know it was this intricate?
Yeah.
Well, this is the fun part.
This is the fun part. So anyway, A&R process.
And the level of possibility that exists in this stage is so exciting.
Yeah. And it's also, this is side story. Your brother was over like a couple months ago,
Yep, to
and
visit.
we kind of showed him the process of what we do. And he is literally a surgeon.
He's a surgeon. He's very smart.
Yeah, wicked
smart.
And he was overwhelmed at the possibility.
Yeah, he said, I don't know how you do it.
Ways that it could go.
It can be paralyzing to have so many options.
It can be.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I was like, wow, that is an interesting perspective because I forgot about that. I had felt like that at one point in my career.
Yep.
Absolutely. And you should. It's a very important part. Like you are crippled by options.
Yes. So we're having the A&R session. A&R
right.
session, 8 to 12 tracks. Now we've
You're hot.
Oh, thanks.
Let's make out later.
He loves this. This is why I'm still doing music, because of you.
Down, boy.
It's your fault. Damn it.
Okay,
I would be making soup without you.
Why do you think it's soup after that?
Okay, we're doing the A&R session. I probably pick like 6 tracks that I like out of 12. You do get disciplined to where you're like, okay, let's pick the ones that feel urgent. I always intuitively think like, what sound do I need to give the world right now? Yeah. So you send me those tracks in an email, and I sit alone in my office and I tinker away at lyrics. And often it helps to also sit at the microphone for like an hour with you. Mm-hmm. And he'll put on like one of those tracks that I picked, and it'll be like, you know, and I'll be like, and then just doing gibberish and melodies and vibes, while in my brain I'm channeling my higher self. I'm channeling, like, for 5D, very inspired by Eminem, early Eminem. For dress code, I really just inspired my damn self, because I feel like that's giving me abracadabra. It's giving fashion, it's giving runway, but this unique brand that I've created for that persona. So we channel those, we spend an hour together on the mic, and then I go and I sit and I slave away over lyrics, because I am such a perfectionist now. It can't be like any throwaway lines, and it sometimes takes me like a couple of weeks just to finish the lyrics. Are you going to give me your...
Yeah, so my turn. Okay, so I'm constantly trying to, since it's such a small camp and we need to operate at a high level.
Meaning you, me, and Pompano Puff.
Just the 3 of us.
Literally.
Sometimes we'll have other writers, Zach Waters, Crash.
True. And Finnessy is our mix and master guy, and he sends us like drum loops and shit sometimes.
Yeah, he is also an incredible...
He's a great producer.
He's an incredible producer. Yeah. He's a very, very talented kid. Who also happens to be a great engineer, which is why he always ends up doing engineer things.
Because nobody wants to.
Well, it takes such a high skill set to be able to do it well.
We are privileged to have his time to mix our songs, you know?
Yeah, him, Parker, also is an incredible engineer mixer, and Stan Green, also incredible mixer, engineer.
We have a fucking amazing team.
Producer, yep. So anyway, I'm kind of like, my thinking was when we first started this was that I have to be able to create things like if you were by yourself, okay? So if you're just by yourself, you'd be like, hey, I need all these beats. I need to kind of fill all of those roles of the variety and the whatever of music that you're going to get. So I was like, okay, well, that means I need to be creating every single day for hours, every single day, just living in headphones, just making shit. And when you first start, it's awful. I was not a producer before 5-6 years ago.
It's true.
So, but I knew music. I still had a background, but I didn't know, I had no engineering side.
Also, the computer is scary.
The computer for me,
it's a lot of buttons.
I have always been the kid that walks up to the computer and it like buzzes out, and they're like, I've never seen that before in my life. That was my entire existence. Okay, so the computer.
If that doesn't discourage you from being a producer,
slowly walking up to it, it was like.
Still a couple times.
I still at the end of every day.
I think you're doing good now.
I'm better.
The computer is finally is succumbing to you.
I had to woo it. I had to fucking flirt with it. I say thank you to the computer the end of every single day. He does. I touch it and I say thank you. Because I understand. I'm like, dude, you have all of this shit in you. If you wanted to, you could just take a shit and I'd be fucked.
If you're listening as a music fan and you're like, oh, maybe I'll be a producer someday, this is your sign, okay?
Yeah.
Anybody can do this. It really just takes a lot of patience.
Play trombone.
Yes.
So I make a bunch, right? And I'll have like 10 or ish. I usually, it's like 10 ideas that I think are good. And they're usually very open and very basic. Because a lot of times with us, and you'll learn this as a producer, you still need to go through it yourself to understand what it feels like. But this is what's going to happen. You're going to have some tracks that are so empty and basic that they don't know what to do on it. People are like, what are you, like, no, imagine you can, they're like, no. Nobody's going to imagine it. Okay. Maybe you'll be some random inspiration will come down. But for the vast majority, like most people are going to be like, dude, what the fuck did you just send me? Then the other extreme is you fill the entire track.
You did way too much.
Everything's done already. It's like you got these synth lines coming in and shit. You all this crazy bass shit. And then the singers get it or whoever gets it. And they're like, dude, what the fuck do you want me to do on this? There's nothing I can do. Everything is filled. Okay, so Sugar Daddy. Sugar Daddy is just one note. Boom, 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 boom.
He loved me, he give me all his money. That Gucci Prada come be my sugar daddy.
Okay, that's it. It's really, I think it's like a low B maybe or something.
That's it.
But what I love doing with those and what's so fun with those is it gives you some tonal center, okay? And I had the piano, boom, boom, boom. And I remember when I first played it too, I was like, you fucking idiot. I already knew you were going to write something crazy on it. So, because it was just so playground.
He does know too. It's annoying.
A lot of times
Sometimes I'll be at the end of the day, I'll come back from the office and they'll be like, I made 2 today. And I was like, all right.
And I'll know. And you'll write on them and we'll have 2 ones that are going to be released. What I love doing is implying, and what you're so good at, is implying different harmonies on top of this open
I like to add
structure.
Notes that aren't there yet.
Yes. And so then even in Sugar Daddy, I think of the pre-chorus like dun 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 dun, like that bass, the guitar line that comes in. Mm-hmm. That all of a sudden goes to like, what is that, Phrygian or Locrian? It goes to a totally different mode where all of a sudden those notes did not exist prior. But you have all these different harmonies that you're implying in the backgrounds.
It's incredible.
And then, which is a lot of this.
I love that you can analyze it, because for me, I just hear it. Even I went to music school and they told me what Phrygian and Locrian was, and I'm still just like, look, I just need to feel saucy on this shit. Okay, so here's an example of Here's an example of where we end up after he makes these beats. I put some like random gibberish. This is something I learned from John Mayer. John Mayer came to Berkeley. He said, I'm pro gibberish. He was like, we just, and you don't make any words yet. You just get those rhythms and the tone and the vibe and the notes.
Yeah.
But here's, which one do you want to play
Okay,
first?
this is 5D. Okay, there was a crazy intro in it before, so I'll cut past that.
Yeah, we'll skip to it. I haven't even heard that since we got
a long time.
Yo.
Yeah, isn't that interesting?
And that's just channeling, and I love how it's so gentle too. The demos are always like
sometimes
because we're not pushing yet. We're not pushing yet. We don't have a concept yet. It's just sort of you're pulling it in. You're pulling it in from another source, which I always say is higher self, God, universe, source, like that's the best. That's the best. So you got that. I go to my office. I write the lyrics. I'm like, you know me. You know I'm carefree. Might switch it up. Living in 5D. And we have, okay. So then we sit and cut it together, which is also challenging at times.
Yeah. It's a lot of work. That's because to me that requires the most engineering.
And for me, I'm sweating. I'm usually just in my underpants because it's so sweaty, y'all.
Oh, so sweaty. Because I'm sweating too.
We're just sweating.
I'm not even doing anything.
You have to turn the air conditioner off.
Well, that's probably why we're sweating.
You don't want it
We just solved it.
You don't want it to get in the microphone like
Yeah, the low fucking hum.
Yeah.
No, but it is funny. Cutting vocals is work. There's no way around it.
It's work.
There's no way
You're
around
like,
it. You're sweating.
Punch your card, come in, cut your vocal. Because here's the thing, kids. If you've never cut vocals before, you're like, you know me, and Nick's like, cool, let's do one more. You know me, you know. He's like, all right, cool. Now with a little more energy but less air, and you're like, and you just keep trying.
Yeah.
And then at the end of that, you have to comp. This is a Ben Folds song. He was like, all the big producers mixing all my shitty tracks. So literally, like, he has to sit there and mix my vocals together and pick the takes that are good. Can we talk about something really quick? Female artists, because of the patriarchy, we are like edited differently. We're treated differently. We're put in this box.
You are. I
hate to say it.
I saw it. I saw it.
You saw it. You're a witness.
I saw it. Yeah.
So now I have somebody who actually fucking loves me and cares about me and is comping my vocals. And you do pick the good ones. And we've worked together to learn what each other likes and what that means. And what y'all like to hear.
Because that means different things to different people, to be honest.
Yeah. So your process is going to get so refined. You're going to have so much fun exploring this. As long as you feel safe. Make sure you work with people you feel safe with.
Yeah, but sometimes you can feel unsafe sometimes.
Yeah.
Creating like this, no. Look, if you physically don't feel like you're in a safe place, leave.
Yes.
But
God. Too many producer scenarios that are abusive.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You hear about a new one every. You hear about a new one all the time. But because it is such an intimate relationship.
It is, and an artist is so precious and so important. Yeah. Like you can make a dent in the universe if you're a great artist that's supported by somebody who sees your vision. So I'm grateful to you.
Grateful for you too, because otherwise I'm just some trombone player in a room making tracks.
Somewhere. No, you could be working with Selena Gomez if you really wanted to.
I could?
Yeah.
What the fuck am I doing here? And shout out all the music that we do make with is with Pompano Puff. So this what you heard is pre Pompano Puff.
It's pre Pompano. Pre-Pompano.
Pre-Pompano. Yeah, he just has such an interesting approach to
Are you going to play Dress Code too?
I'm going to play Dress Code.
Talk about Pompano. He's
so he just has such an interesting approach. So the first song we ever did with him was back in Carmen, this album called Leo Rising, which is an indie thing that we did. And it was amazing, but it was a song called Pure Imagination, which was a cover. And we played it for him one time, and he was like, dude, you just gotta let me fuck with it. And I was like, all right, cool. And he just really just let me fuck with the drums. So I was like, dude, do your thing. I need help. So he just kind of did his thing to it and just put what he heard or what he felt on the drums and some different things. And it was great. And I was like, dude, yes, exactly.
It was magical.
So ever since there's been no drama. We've just been able to always just make shit. We listen to each other. It's very easy.
And it's another level of excellence that we add to our music. It's like we start with our excellence back and forth. Pompano Puff comes in with his excellence, and then we pass it on to Finnessy for his excellence. Mm-hmm. And so you're looking at 4 layers of excellence.
Well, that's how it should be.
And I fucking love it, guys. It's been so fun.
Is fun.
It's so fun to make this music for you. Thank you to anybody that's listening. If you're listening to this podcast and you haven't heard our music, well, you're in for a treat.
Let's hang out later.
Yes. If you're an independent artist out there that doesn't have a Jedi Nick, or a Pompano Puff, you can purchase tracks from talented producers on the internet. Apparently, that's how you do it. It's like $20 to $100 or something.
I've never done it, but yeah.
But there's some you got to search and you got to use your intuition and pick the track that you love and write a song on it. Here's how I do that. If you need a little bit of a tip. So what I do when I'm listening to tracks, when I'm listening to anybody's tracks, I feel the dominant vibration. So sit there, you're probably going to listen to 30 tracks in a row, and you feel the dominant vibration, and you imagine yourself as that bitch that you put together on your mood board already, and you make sure that the two are in alignment and that you have something to say on the song. That's my biggest tip for that.
Yeah.
That's how you choose. Qveen, how do I choose a track to start rapping or singing? Feel the dominant vibration. Look at your mood board. Who is this artist you're giving birth to? And make sure you have something you want to say on there. I think that's the biggest thing. Play the Dress Code one just for reference, because if you've heard these songs, if you haven't, you can compare this with the record. Yeah. Which came out 2 days ago.
Millions of the people know. How could you ever get it? Where is how we have to go? I know they have to hit it. Huh, huh, huh. You wanna run? And I get it now, huh, huh. you got it down for the bitch like me. You could get it all. Millions of the people know. How could you?
Yeah, that shit was hard. That was hard to write lyrics to because I love the demo so much. And I was like, but I'm not saying anything. It's such a vibe already.
Yeah.
So it's scary when you start getting demoitis. Watch out for demoitis.
Oh, I had demoitis down in, what did I just say? I had
What's in these martinis, sir? Who makes these? You did.
I was going to say I have demoitis as a note under podcast in my phone.
Oh, demoitis is tough.
It is tough. Don't over-listen to your demos,
Do
kids.
not
You're going to get
over-listen.
excited about something, and you're going to listen to it 400,000 times.
Just like we talk about you as a person constantly changing and transforming and pivoting, you have to allow your art to do that too. It's really hard. It's really
have some discipline, or over-listen to it,
Sometimes
ruin
you
it,
will.
and then not do that again.
Sometimes you will ruin a song.
Oh, yeah.
But look, what we do is we just leave it. We say, let's put it on the back burner, and we keep. That's what we
do.
say.
We do.
say, put it on the back burner.
I have a whole collection of what I think
Back
of are
burner.
like, that are like hits,
And then we'll
that
end
are
up-
amazing songs. We're just waiting for the concept or whatever.
Yeah. We'll end up writing it like 2 years later.
Yeah.
So it's never a waste. You're
Yeah.
never wasted.
Yeah.
We have hard drives and technologies for that. Okay, cutting vocals, background textures, and arrangement. So Pompano Puff has come in. He's put his sauce down. I add the background vocals. We do the ad-libs, and then we send it to our mix engineer. Okay, so if
And
you...
then it's done. Click upload.
I mean, yeah, that would be great, right? No, the mix engineer is going to put his or her sauce on it, and you're going to be like, yo, this shit is so... They almost add like a new layer that you're like, I never heard the song this way before. Okay, but I do need the snare to be louder. I do need this to be... So you send notes, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you'll have rounds of notes. It's usually...
They say like
it's not very
Michael
many.
Jackson for Billie Jean. How many mixes did he have?
So this is the rumor. I think it was like 92 mixes, 95
He did
mixes.
92 mix changes, and then he ended up going with mix 2.
Something like that.
for the
Something like
release.
that.
Yeah. So the mix is where you can start to lose your head because you're like, yo, it sounded different in my mind. And like the mix engineer is their own artist and their own creative. So they're putting their flavor on it. And
Yeah, they are absolutely artists.
and you want to find a mix engineer, mix artist that is going to vibe with your vibe. Okay, so it might take you a few tries before you find somebody that you love, and still you're going to have notes, right? So we go through like sometimes 8 or 11 or 12 mix
Sometimes
versions.
those are the high ones. Usually
Those are the high.
Usually it's like 4 to 6.
4 to 6 is really good. And then he also will add like a special effects or like anything that he's feeling and vibing with. And then we have a master, which oftentimes today you mix everything so hot that you don't even need a master, but we throw it on there just to make it like nice and even. So a master is where you get all the frequencies sort of even. Steven?
Yeah, so the idea is to make it sound the same on different speakers and whatnot.
Yeah,
so
it is an important step.
Yeah.
And then you listen in the car, you listen on headphones, you listen in the computer, you listen everywhere you can possibly listen.
Listen different places because things are going to sound different, like in different compression and EQ and everything. It's such
and then
a
you
wild...
upload it to Spotify and it sounds even more different.
You just put it right. It does. Spotify also, each platform has their own different compression.
Limiters and stuff.
Yeah, so just
So
it's going to keep kind of like smashing.
My advice for the mixing, because it can really stress you out, is just get it as good as you can.
Yep.
And then allow for, it to go where it's going to go.
fresh ears, and I would say...
Take your time. Like, don't listen to it for 2 days and then listen to it.
Yeah. Follow your gut reactions to things.
And listen to
took
it
me
when
a
you're
long
doing
time.
other shit. Don't sit there and be like, I'm listening to the mix now, like staring at the computer. Like,
No, I mean,
have it on loop, like while you're cleaning or something.
Okay, sure.
That's my advice.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're so much more intuitive.
Super intuitive. You're Nick's like in there like, okay, 2 decibels of this. Well,
I
roll
mean,
off the highs.
no,
It's like,
but when I'm creating it, I'm very intuitive. But at this point, then I'm like, oh yeah, it does. I just know what I hear in my brain, and it takes a minute to like. And sometimes you go back and forth and just like stupid shit. Like it's just a little loud. Now it's a little quiet.
what's also annoying is when you go back to the demo and you're like, there's something really thick about this, and you have to figure out what the balance is. And
That's for the girth. Hit the girth button.
You gotta get the girth together. So then you've got your song, you've got this beautiful composition, this very meaningful concept, this sick beat that you know the world needs right now. And you're like, oh, bitch. Now, this is where I go in and I make a Pinterest board. I make a mood board around this record because I'm like, yo, which one feels like it wants to make a video? Which one feels like it needs a photo shoot? And that's what I plan. So I go into my planning mode because once this little baby song comes out, the world wants a reference point. They want something to latch on to. They're like, what is the vibe, Qveen? Are you a sugar baby at home, like filming yourself with your different fur coats? What is the vibe? So I go on Pinterest. I plan sort of a photo shoot, and we bring Alex over for that as well. You assist on the lighting. Oftentimes it's just the three of us.
Most of the time.
Shooting images. I go through the images. I pick my faves. I do a lot of squinting as I'm going through them, and I choose a select, and then I edit them in Facetune. It's really not that serious. Then I pull them into Photoshop. I do like any treatments I need to do on there, any changing of the backgrounds, adding shit, parental advisory sticker, which I've decided to not do anymore because I'm like, that's like weird. It's like having a trademark.
I'm not a parent.
Who cares? So you plan that. If you're going to shoot a music video, we could do a whole other podcast about music video, but it's important to attach your new baby to an identity before you throw her out into the world to fend for herself. Uploading it to DistroKid is fun. That's a cute part of the process.
Yeah, so we just use DistroKid,
which is like $20 a year.
Yeah.
And you just upload your music. You have to tell them, is it explicit? Is it this? Is it that? If there's other collaborators, other writers, they can actually handle that for you. They can split. If you agreed with your producer that they get 50%, you can put that in DistroKid and they can get a check every month too. Mm-hmm. So it's a beautiful world that we live in where you can now do all of this for like under $100.
Yeah. And they're the ones who put it on all the streaming services like Spotify, Apple, Amazon, blah, blah, blah.
Wherever you consume music, DistroKid services your song there for like $20 or $30 a year. TuneCore is another one that's like relatively inexpensive. Mm-hmm. If you're a bigger, more popping artist, you might try to partner with a distributor, which is like these companies are talking. A distributor that's
playlists.
They're going to try to help you out a little bit more.
Right.
In our experience, it doesn't always work out. So we just prefer to keep it all because we're the ones that have to blow it up on TikTok.
Because we got to do the work anyway.
Period.
What song that you have worked on together so far as Qveen Herby came the fastest? Just like came together super fast. From concept to lyrics to all of it.
That's what she said.
The fastest. Okay. The song that came together the fastest of all of our 80-some songs. I have an answer. Do you have an answer?
I don't. You go first.
Vitamins.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Came together the fastest.
Yeah. That was, yeah.
It was pre-pandemic. You made a beat and I was like, oh my God, this is so silly. What if I made a song about vitamins? And then I sat down and I rapped like the whole thing.
I do it. Yeah, you're right.
And it took me like 5 minutes to write the verses. That was the easiest one.
Wow. Yeah, that was also pretty easy to, on my end too, because it was just it already wrote itself.
Yeah, I think we discovered something that day that we were like, oh, it's this chaotic, like fun, wellness themed hip hop energy
which was what Pharrell was doing too.
Yeah. Yeah. This is why we love Pharrell.
Yeah.
So it was vitamins for me. What was it for you?
Probably vitamins. I think that makes sense.
It's the fastest.
I'm trying to think of all the
Sugar
other
Daddy
ones.
was fast. But we sat on the demo for like a while.
We did, and we went back and added the intro and did all that.
That was a bit of a journey.
Yeah.
I hope you've enjoyed this. We're going to go over some folks that did the nice thing for a stranger this week.
Nice people. Samantha Campfield, YouTube comment. I would like to share my stranger moment. Shows the circle of kindness. While gardening, a group of kids are trying to catch their dog that got out.
Oh,
trauma happened to me before.
Stressful.
I asked if they needed help. We end up getting her back towards my house and catching her. I cut a drawstring off my shirt to make a short-term collar so they could get her home. Oh, wow. That's really nice. 3 days later, I am loading up bricks in a completely different neighborhood, and a group of kids asked me if I would like help getting them all loaded in my car. It could have been a coincidence, but I don't really care. Put good into the world. Sometimes you get good out. Wow. Interesting.
That's really interesting.
Fuck yeah.
I've also loaded bricks into my car. And I feel like we can bond on this.
Hashtag trauma bond.
It's a real thing. That's so cool.
That is so cool.
That is a great example of how it does come back to you, not always in the same manner. And
what goes
not
around comes around.
Thank you, Samantha, for sharing that. So
Thank you,
magical.
Samantha.
If you have something to share with us, every week we're gonna just
go do something nice for somebody. Go be kind. Go give $20 to your roommate.
Subtly make fun of you, but also praise you because it's
who knows.
You are creating a momentum.
Let's keep spinning it.
That is tangible.
Tangible momentum.
That is making a dent in our universe. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, wow, what a thick episode
Girth.
that we just had. Thank you so much for tuning in. This has been House of Herbie, Qveen Herby, Jedi Nick. We love you so much. If you have time, make sure you rate and review this episode. Apparently that's important. I don't know.
That's the thing people do.
Sounds cool. If you want more people like you to come hang out with us, please do that. Rate and review. We will see you next week. I can't wait to hear what we're about to talk about. Love y'all.